CALAH Jackson warns Stephen McBee Jr. over FBI investigation. As Stephen McBee Jr. attempted to defuse an explosive argument between CALAH Jackson and Cole McBee on the McBee dynasty, Real American Cowboys, his ex-girlfriend dropped a cryptic bombshell. "The truth will f***ing come out, Stephen, and you're gonna f***ing be buried for this is T," she warned him during Season 2, Episode 5's Ozark's Family Getaway, before asking why he was scared. In a confessional, CALAH, who was upset that her ex didn't have her back amid the Cole drama, confirmed that she was referring to the then-ongoing FBI investigation into his father, Stephen McBee Sr., and the family's Missouri-based McBee Farm and Cattle Co. "Stephen told me that Steve was being investigated by the FBI," she revealed to a producer, further accusing him of trying to stop her from talking about it in front of his family, most of whom were unaware of the patriarch's legal issues at the time. Later, CALAH continued, "I have so much tea on this family. If I wanted to, I could bury them. Trust me, there are secrets that they would not want to come out, although there might be one coming out pretty soon." Stephen McBee Jr. reacts to CALAH Jackson's FBI investigation comments. Stephen Jr., for his part, acknowledged in a separate confessional, "CALAH is trying to threaten me right now," adding, "I can see it in her eyes. I don't know what the hell's going to happen." Still, his main concern at the time was convincing his drunk ex to leave the kitchen, where she continued to face off with Cole after an earlier dockside dust-up, and cool off downstairs for the night. "Your immaturity at 32 years old is absolutely insane," Stephen told CALAH after pushing her chair to the other side of the room. "You want to make things as bad as humanly possible between you and everyone in my family. I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong here. Should Cole have responded the way he did? No, but that's my f***ing brother. Cole was just defending me." Following the tense back and forth, CALAH tearfully packed her bags and left the Ozarks early, still insisting that she'd done nothing wrong. Why Christy McBee is done with Stephen McBee Jr. and CALAH Jackson's drama. In the wake of their argument, Stephen's mom, Christy McBee, questioned why he would drink with CALAH all day, noting that she'd seen the train wreck coming from a mile away. "This isn't love," she declared, prompting her eldest son to agree. "You guys cannot be together. I've been telling you this for how long?" the McBee matriarch continued. "You guys make each other miserable. It's not ever going to be all good with you guys." In a confessional, Christy elaborated, "It's hard for me to watch Stephen make mistakes. He wanted to treat her right, especially after CALAH's sister passed away. I'm done with all this. Stephen isn't perfect, but she's poison for my family, and I'm not gonna allow it anymore." Earlier, Christy, who had already agreed to help CALAH secure a new Dallas apartment, also addressed claims that her son's ex is a gold digger in a producer interview. "Funny you say that," she responded to the prompt. "That's what was said when they first met. And honestly, I'm getting really frustrated with it. I would do anything to get her out of his life." Why was Stephen McBee Sr. under FBI investigation? Stephen Sr. pleaded guilty to one count of federal crop insurance fraud in November 2024, thereby admitting that he engaged in fraudulent activity from 2018 to 2020 that caused an economic loss to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. According to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of Missouri, Stephen had allegedly submitted fraudulent documents underreporting his corn crop and soybean crop totals in 2018, resulting in the receipt of more than a combined $3 million in federal crop insurance subsidies and federal crop insurance premium subsidies. In addition to facing up to 30 years in federal prison without parole, he has to pay more than $3 million in restitution to the government. Stephen's sentencing is currently scheduled for September 9, 2025, according to DTN. CALAH Jackson, her usually vibrant eyes clouded with a mix of anger and hurt, clutched a sweating glass of iced tea. Across the rustic kitchen table, Cole McBee, Stephen Jr.'s younger brother, was a coiled spring, his jaw tight. The tension between them was a palpable force, stretching taut across the room, threatening to snap. Stephen McBee Jr., caught in the crossfire, felt the familiar knot tighten in his stomach. He'd seen this dance before, but never with such a dangerous edge. "You always take his side, Stephen." CALAH'S voice, usually a melodic drawl, was sharp, edged with accusation. "You never have my back." Stephen Jr. ran a hand through his hair, a gesture of exasperation. "Calah, please. This isn't the time. Not here." He glanced nervously towards the living room, where the rest of the family was oblivious, laughing over a game of cards. Cole scoffed, a low, guttural sound. "She's just looking for a fight, Stephen. Always has been." That was it. Calah pushed back her chair, the legs scraping loudly against the wooden floor, a sound that cut through the light-hearted chatter from the next room. Her eyes, usually so expressive, narrowed into slits, fixed on Stephen Jr. "The truth will f'kin come out, Stephen, and you're gonna f'kin be buried for this." The words hung in the air, cold and sharp, like shards of ice. Stephen Jr. felt a jolt, a flash of recognition in her gaze. He knew exactly what she was referring to, the secret he tried so desperately to keep buried, especially from his family. "Why are you scared?" she pressed, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper, though the venom in it was unmistakable. In the quiet solitude of a later confessional, Calah's voice, though calmer, still vibrated with raw emotion. "Stephen told me that Steve was being investigated by the FBI," she revealed, the words tumbling out, heavy with the weight of betrayal. "He was trying to stop me from talking about it in front of his family. Most of them had no idea." Her anger wasn't just about the current spat with Cole. It was a deeper wound, a feeling that Stephen Jr. had abandoned her, had chosen his family's secrets over her loyalty. "I have so much tea on this family," she continued, a dark glint in her eye. "If I wanted to, I could bury them. Trust me, there are secrets that they would not want to come out, although there might be one coming out pretty soon." Stephen Jr., in his own confessional, ran a hand over his face, the weariness etched deep in his features. "Calah is trying to threaten me right now," he admitted, his voice low, almost a whisper. "I can see it in her eyes. I don't know what the hell's going to happen." But the immediate crisis was Calah, still fuming, still facing off with Cole. The earlier dockside dust-up had escalated, fueled by alcohol and simmering resentments. His priority was to get her out of the kitchen, to defuse the bomb before it detonated in front of everyone. "Your immaturity at 32 years old is absolutely insane," Stephen Jr. said, his voice strained, as he gently but firmly pushed her chair away from the table. "You want to make things as bad as humanly possible between you and everyone in my family. I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong here. Should Cole have responded the way he did? No, but that's my f'kin brother. Cole was just defending me." The words, meant to calm, only seemed to ignite a fresh spark of fury in Calah. Her eyes welled up, but the tears were of rage, not sorrow. She pushed past him, a whirlwind of indignation, and stormed off. Later, the sound of her car tires crunching on the gravel driveway echoed through the quiet evening. Calah was gone, bags packed, leaving the Ozarks early, still insisting she'd done nothing wrong. Christy McBee, Stephen Jr.'s mother, watched the drama unfold with a weary sigh. The next morning, as she poured coffee, she turned to her eldest son, her expression a mixture of concern and exasperation. "Why would you drink with Calah all day, Stephen?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. "I've seen the train wreck coming from a mile away." She shook her head. "This isn't love." Stephen Jr. nodded, slumped in his chair. "I know, Mom. You guys cannot be together. I've been telling you this for how long?" Christy continued, her frustration mounting. "You guys make each other miserable. It's not ever going to be all good with you guys." In her own confessional, Christy's voice softened, a mother's pain evident. It's hard for me to watch Stephen make mistakes. He wanted to treat her right, especially after CALAH'S sister passed away. A pause, then her resolve hardened. I'm done with all this. Stephen isn't perfect, but she's poison for my family, and I'm not gonna allow it anymore. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had even agreed to help CALAH find a new apartment in Dallas, a desperate attempt to sever the ties. When a producer had earlier brought up the gold digger accusations against CALAH, Christy's response had been telling. Funny you say that. That's what was said when they first met. And honestly, I'm getting really frustrated with it. I would do anything to get her out of his life. But CALAH'S cryptic warning, the one Stephen Jr. had tried to dismiss, lingered like a bad taste. The secrets she hinted at weren't just personal family squabbles. They were far more serious, rooted in the very foundation of the McBee empire. Stephen McBee Sr., the patriarch, the titan of McBee Farm and Cattle Co., had been under the unforgiving scrutiny of the FBI.